Hello beautiful people, I am super excited because in this video we are going to be talking about safety tips. Specifically, safety tips when living with a roommate. So normally when you have a roommate, typically it's somebody that you trust, somebody that you've vetted, somebody that you know and you're like, yeah, I want to live with you. I think we could vibe well. However, we live in 2023 and that is not always the case. Sometimes people open up their houses to different people and, they're like, hey, I need a roommate. I'm trying to split these bills. Other times, wild, crazy stories that I have heard, people get roommates because they're like in a relationship. That is wild. They're like, we're in a relationship, so I guess we should just move in together. But you don't really know this person. And I think that regardless of what anyone's situation is, I'm not judging. I just want everyone to be safe. And I think that whether you are 18 and headed off to university or whether you are an adult figuring out your life, everybody should feel safe and be safe in their own home. And when you have a roommate, your safety is not only solely up to you, it also involves this other person. And thus, the reason for this video. Let's get into it, shall we? Tip number 1, establish boundaries and expectations up front. So whether you're in a new relationship, whether this is somebody that you've known for a really long time and somebody that you're like, I trust them with my life, or if it's somebody that you're just like, hey, I'm answering an ad on Facebook or wherever, it's really important that you establish your boundaries and expectations up front. So that way everybody is clear, and when those boundaries are either crossed or when expectations are not met, you can have a free discussion about it. And what I mean by free is there aren't assumptions, there doesn't have to be any anxiety, there doesn't have to be any like bantering back and forth. Everybody's on the same page. Don't act like you're crazy and that you didn't know, you knew. And that helps when it comes time to have that discussion and say, hey, I'm not okay with this, but I'm okay with this. Or that wasn't really cool and this bothered me and this is why. And it goes back to your expectations and your boundaries. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to establish rules for guests and visitors up front. This is really important because the world is wild, as we know, and people be wildin'. And that's really hard and can become very difficult internally for you as an individual. I know it does for me when someone else, your roommate, just brings another person into the mix. And visitors are always welcome, friends and family are welcome, but if you're an introvert, you're like, dude, I can't have all these people in my house all the time. Your roommate should know about that. If you're an extrovert and you like to party and you're like, I'm having people over, and your roommate's like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm studying, you need to be respectful of that, right? So there's so many different situations that come up and different things that are going to affect each person. And as a roommate, it's really important that we communicate with our roommate what it is that we're okay with and what we're not okay with when it comes to visitors and guests. It's how long are they able to stay? Where are they staying? Who's responsible for them? How is this going to affect our bills, right? Or if you have someone that comes and stays with you for 2 weeks, that's half a month. That's extra water, that's like extra electricity. Are we still gonna split things 50-50? Or are you going to, up yours to 75? We're gonna do 75-25. What does that look like? And those are just, if you can have those discussions and be very clear about that up front, it is only beneficial in the long term because everybody is on the same page. It avoids frustration. It avoids people wanting to do crazy, weird things. And it won't have an effect on your safety. Like, you're gonna know ahead of time. And that's another thing, who are establishing up front who is allowed to come to the house and who is not allowed to come to the house. Having those discussions. How long are they able to stay? It's the thing is, it's only beneficial when you have these conversations. Okay, so the third tip that I have, here are my notes, is not to share your personal and financial information. This is really important because, I'm gonna say it, we don't know these concubines. Whether, again, you're going into university and you have a new roommate, you would love to trust them 100%, or whether it's a friend of a friend or whatever. You don't actually know that person, and you don't know that they have your best interests at heart. So keep the things like your finances, your passwords close to you. Don't share them, because if they are nefarious, if they are someone that is wanting to take advantage or able to take advantage because they see an opportunity and they're not, like, you know, on the up and up as far as morals and values goes, and they're going to take that opportunity and it leaves you in the lurch, you avoid that entirely by not sharing all of your personal information. When you're with a roommate, keep all of your valuables in a safe. Keep them stored safe and secure and locked away. That, again, that sounds like, hey, you're being kind of paranoid and you live with this person. True, you live with this person, but until you really get to know this person and you actually trust them 1,000%, keep your valuables like your social security card, your passport, any financial information, jewelry, if you are blessed to have legit jewelry and things that you've inherited from somebody, keep that locked up. We don't know these concubines. My next tip is not to use drugs or consume alcohol excessively. Even though you're in your own home and you should be able to do that in the safety of your own home, when you have a roommate, again, someone that you really don't know, or someone that you're getting to know, or someone that hasn't fully earned your trust, and just a general safety rule, you don't want to do that excessively, because that leaves you completely open. I mean, it's not uncommon in the United States to hear, my camera died, but what I was saying is that in the United States, it is not uncommon to have heard about guys in fraternities or girls in sororities, and they're living together, they're in a frat house or whatever houses for the sororities, and they're living with people that they like and that they trust, and they're like, oh, this is my brother, this is my sister, but when they have these parties, these people just kind of leave them. Like, they consume excessive alcohol, they leave them, they put them in a room, and then that's where all sorts of crazy, ridiculous things happen. And so when you are with roommates, if this is not somebody that you would trust to make decisions when you are unconscious in a hospital, life or death, do not do drugs and do not drink excessively. Keep it to 1 cup, and make sure if you put that cup down, that's the end. Don't pick it back up. My personal safety tip for you on that one. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. As a bonus, I have one more safety tip for you. And that is, when you are living with someone that you don't know 100%, always have a backup plan. Just in case there is an emergency, in case they decide, like, I'm out, and they're not gonna give you, any type of notice whatsoever, and you're on the hook for everything. Whatever it is, have a backup plan so that you can continue moving forward with your goals and dreams and living in your purpose, and that you are not negatively affected by someone else because they just decided not to care about you at all. Thank you again for making it to the end of the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.